Welcome to the bold analysis. Today, the 27th day of March 2025. The military bosses and security chiefs are raising an alarm to the president over the potential of regime change just in response to the emergence, or rather the wave of Ruto must go slogans that is now taking center stage in social places, especially a year after the Gen Z-led protest in 2024. And according to the security chiefs, what they are telling the president is something that is very disturbing, the potential of regime change. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. And thank you very much for supporting this podcast. Why should you subscribe? You subscribe so that when we publish a video, you'll be getting notifications. And remember, subscription is absolutely free. And your data, your email is not accessible, is safe, both on the front end and back end of the channel. So no one can access. So you just need to subscribe. And I want to say thank you very much. I was sampling the channel today. And I want to say shout out to Gabon Hala. Yes. Gabon Hala Kevin. Yeah. A new subscriber from Sweden. I just got that. Gabon Hala Kevin from Sweden. And I thank God that, of course, we are watched just across Europe. Since the Gen Z protest in June, the youths who are pushed out of the street through the bullets and tear gas have been taking to social media and social places to chant, "Ruto must go." Any slightest opportunity, they will always remind themselves that President Ruto must go. When we were analyzing the Gen Z protest, I did say that whatever was happening in social media was actually a continuation of the rage that was outpouring, that was poured in the streets in June 2024. And since then, the country, when an opportunity arises, they will always remind themselves that Ruto must go. It's not in club. It's not in clubs, football matches, women chamas, and birthday parties. There will always be a reminder that Ruto must go. Recently, during the Kenya versus Gabon match, the MC was trying to tell the audience, the football fans there, how they should react when Harambee Stars scores. And he never said that Ruto must go. But I can tell you the whole thing turned to be a Ruto must go chant sweeping the stadium. And President Ruto was seated in the dais. Have a look at this.
Hiyo ni zaile tumefunga bao ama tuna hiyo Kenya hiyo ni zaile tumefunga bao ama tuna Kenya hiyo Harambee
So these chants, Kenyans have been coming out and reminding themselves that Ruto must go. The CDF, General Kahariri, NIS boss Dorjin Haji, while speaking in the Kenya Defense College in Nairobi, during an inaugural public lecture by the NIS boss, are actually warning that the country is pregnant to deliver a baby, and that baby is regime change. But they have a caveat that even as the country is pregnant for a regime change, they should make sure it is done in the constitutional way, that it is a constitutional means. In what sounds like an alarm, allegedly, of those planning some regime change. And of course, I will want to read part of this. I will just want to read part of this statement. That this is what it's saying. Even as the people exercise their rights, we should be within limits and bounds so that we don't tear our country apart. As military, our core value is that we are apolitical. We don't support any political camp. We defend the constitution and the government owes the day. He went on to say, so when people say they are tired with this government, a government they elected on their own and say must go, that must go must be done according to the constitution. Understand? It is a very clear message. And the military is telling the president that if you lose the 2027 general election, as we support the government of the day, we don't support the Ruto. We support the government of the day. And if it is done in the constitutional means, then they will have no way to talk about this. And I know this response is, and I want to put it at a context. There was a time, I think Raila Odinga issued a statement and said that military, of course, truth be said, what Raila said in the Nation interview was that what happened to Kenya had the danger of military taking over. And so he saved President Ruto for what will be a military takeover. But then the story was done as Raila saved Ruto from a military coup. And military ranks and file did not feel comfortable that even the commander-in-chief never responded. Their position, the military position, is very clear. That you can remove Ruto, but remove Ruto through the constitutional means. And number two is that we will not defend Ruto. We will support the government of the day, whoever wins. It's a very clear message. And I took this, I want us to listen to Nurdin Haji speaking about NIS.
Engaged in open dialogues to emphasize their role in national development, security, and diplomacy. And today, the National Intelligence Service takes a bold step in this shift towards transparency and public engagement in security matters. Today's lecture on Kenya's evolving national security landscape is therefore a reflection of that shift, an opportunity to bridge the gap between intelligence agencies and the citizens we serve, fostering a shared responsibility of keeping our nation safe. Through this lecture, citizens of this great nation are invited to gain insight into a realm that has historically been cloaked in secrecy. Intelligence, by its nature, operates in the shadows. It thrives on discretion and anonymity, handling information that is rarely discussed openly. Yet, at its core, intelligence exists to safeguard Kenya's national security, protect the fabric of our society, and ensure the safety of our people.
Interestingly, since, I don't know, let me, for the first time, I've seen NIS boss speaking in public. General Kameru was in that seat for more than 10 years, since 2014, until the time Uhuru Kenyatta was leaving power, until 2023 or so. But I never saw him making any statement in public. And from the statement he's making, while the NIS operates in secret shadows, riding in the demand for confidentiality, but with the evolving technology and the social media face, even CIA in 2014 opened a social media page. So just like in the US, things are evolving, and NIS is not only confined to intel gathering, but must also be keen on garnering trust and accountability, because it's one of the strong institutions that is really harboring the economic interest, political and social interest. Now, this is what I mean. When abductions happen, and people believe that abductions have happened, and those that have been abducted are being abducted because the president is uncomfortable with them, and then the information comes out that those who did it were from the NIS, it does not look good for that institution. However much it operates in shadows, in secret shadows. But with the current, and that is what he's talking about, the current society we live in, the institution that is supposed to protect the interest of the country might as well lose the trust of the people, and the people look at them as the enemies. But in the real sense, it is a very strong institution as far as security of the country is concerned. And I agree with what NIS is saying, that it is not just about security. It's not just about the national security. It's about economic responsibility of the nation, social interest, and political interests. So this is something that cuts, this is an institution that cuts across. And I want to believe that nothing stops them from clarifying when there's need to. The aged era of operating in secret silos, I think that age is coming to an end. So when an explanation is to be done, probably it's not so difficult. The president has tried to downplay and even to trivialize Ruto must go. And just even the new recruit, Raila Odinga, has been in public domain trying to say, so Ruto goes, then what?
Mambo ya kugawanya mali kwa njia ya ubaguzi hatutaki. Sijada yote tumeweka sema namna hiyo. Kwa hivyo sisi hatujasema tumeingia kwa Ruto. Bwana serikali, Ruto ndiye amekuja kwetu. Kama walikuwa na shida hii ilikuwa inateketea, wakasema ati Ruto must go, finance bill must go. Ruto akasema finance bill siweki sahihi, nimerudishia bunge. Akasema nimevunja serikali. Sasa kitu gani? Sasa tunataka kuunda serikali mpya. Akatuuliza sisi tumepatia yeye wataalamu ambao wanaweza kusaidia. Tukasema chukua hao wataalamu. Sio kuwapatia yeye. Tumaazima, sio? Atujaingia huko. Raila jangia huko. Mimi si waziri katika serikali ya Ruto.
This is part of demystifying the Ruto must go. And the political oligarchs are not comfortable by just that. I even realized in Nairobi, during the Nairobi rallies, the president even tried to trivialize the names, and when saying the way he's been called different names, Kasongo and this and that, and even went to an extent of dancing the original Kasongo song. Remember, the one he's dancing is not the one he danced in Kibera. Is not the one that is normally is in that meme of Kasongo. And just trying to demystify the Ruto must go chants. So this tells you how they're a bit disturbed about it. And that is why I want to interpret why President Ruto is disturbed of this unending must go chant. A very key interpretation looking into this. The first issue here, the first fact here is it must be disturbed because the unending must go brings out the sticky need for regime change in 2027. If there is something that the presidency will not want Mwananchi to put at the back of his mind, is that in 2027, they should change regime. In this podcast, my position has been that while it will unfortunately start with the President Ruto, but just economies in the democracies in the continent of Africa should normalize giving presidents one term, just like established democracies like US, where if you don't work, they give you one term and you go home. The moment we will start making leaders, and this should not just be at the presidential level, the governor, the county governments, and even the constituency level, and even at the ward levels, when it will be in the mind of Mr. Politician that if I don't work for the people, I will be sent home, we will moving a mile closer. We will be moving, closer to realizing the big dream. The dream of leaders being accountable for both their actions and their promises. So, this could easily morph into a vote mobilization. And that is why it's so disturbed. When people keep saying Ruto must go, it means we don't want to hear what you've said. We don't want to hear your track record. It's actually a red card on anything you've done. And that is why the president spends more time making more explanations. Whenever the president is in a public place, attending a church service or an event somewhere or in a rally, you will see the way he's really explaining himself until some of us ask, what about waziris? The president is really struggling to explain himself. Now, the second disturbing fact on this is the military and NIS are confirming one thing, that if the public makes their choice, that is it. And that is it because, and let me use some factor here to explain. I have seen a video from Northeastern of some old mzee who doesn't even know that Moi died. He doesn't even know, just know Raila, then doesn't even know the sitting president. And some people have been saying that, President's handler Sudi said, vote is potosha watajaza. And I've been saying this. If President Ruto will lose the election, and one way or the other, the numbers are topped up, and probably he has got only 40%. If the people in Nairobi, the people in Kisumu, the people in Mombasa, the people in this country will realize that they didn't vote for the president, but the electoral body has procured a president, while he might be sworn in, but we might reproduce another wave of protest. Why? Legitimacy will be the biggest struggle. Watu wataka kwa their confidence waseme, huyu naye hatukumpigia. Hii nayo si yetu tulipiga. And there will be a big problem. So even as those who would looking into ways of getting to second term, they must also ensure, and they should pay more attention into getting acceptability. Even as you want to rig, but at least get a significant number. Now, this is what is coming from this story. Us will not protect Ruto. We'll just protect the government of the day. That means even if Ruto loses, another government is formed, that is what they will protect. Must go slogans detribalizes 2027 ballot. And allow me say something here. I have a big problem with Kalonzo Musyoka and Rigathi Gachagua, where they have a template of if tribe A and tribe B and tribe C comes together, they can defeat the incumbent. The state, you cannot win against the state in the war of tribes. And especially, let me move further and say, with President Ruto, I don't think you can outsmart him in this tribal mobilization. And I would just want to ask a question as I finish. Who would one day think that Raila would have a prize? How would one day think? Whatever is explained here as, we are destabilizing government and this and that, it's not it. Raila Odinga has a prize. So, even the best thing would have been what the Gen Z were advocating for. You talk about housing levy. Talk about those things that are not working. Make the country understand why it is not it is not this, and this is the alternative. But if you're making the country think that it is just this tribe, that tribe merging to meet that tribe, I don't think you can win against Ruto on that. Look at the series of meetings he's holding in State House. And with this money available, if it is the regional kingpins that decide how people vote, he can buy all of them, including even Kalonzo. Acha nisiende sana. They must go also reduces scrutiny of on opponents. So everyone is going, Ruto must go. No one is saying, why Kalonzo? Ruto must go, why Kalonzo? It's just, we want him to go. We are not scrutinizing who is coming. We just want him to go. And the other factor is, it brings insecurity of stability. Insecure of the country being stable. Because if at one time they say Ruto must go, then the country is very fragile. It means that any slightest mistake, and I've been saying that in this podcast, that after the Gen Z protest, the country needs a turnaround. The country needs that overhaul. And even though President Ruto, I'm confirmed as no, I'm a bit convinced he's not done as to what I would expect as a president, having seen what happened in June 2024, coming to skill recycle the same faces, ballooning the government and saying, you know, I'm including everyone when you promise to make it lean. I'm not seeing him responding to what the country was demanding last year. And I've been saying, if we are not careful, months to 2027 general election, the country will be again in the mood of must go.